Hello everyone and welcome to my The Young and the Restless official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that desperation will be a big motivator for Kane Ashby. The longer Lily winters and the twins stay off the grid, the more frantic Kane will become about bringing them home. Kane already left Phyllis a voicemail that involved understanding and forgiveness despite all the chloroform drama. Phyllis went to extremes to gain control of Newman Enterprises, but Kane gets why since he promised her the world and then yanked it all away. Y&R spoilers say Phyllis Summers will return from Milan during the week of February 23rd, 27, so she'll land back on Kane's train eventually. Kane will look frazzled and maybe even a bit drunk as he pleads with Phyllis, so it sounds like a big pitch could be brewing. Kane's going to confess something in the February 26th episode, so he may revisit his voicemail and express some of those thoughts in person. Perhaps Kane will admit he doesn't blame Phyllis and that probably would have done the same in her shoes. However, Kane may also confess how scared he is for Lily, Matty Ashby and Charlie Ashby. Since Kane has let his family down too many times already, he'll want that to finally end now. Phyllis may not be pleased over Kane teaming up with Daniel Romalotti Jr. if she finds out about that, but she'll at least hear Kane's latest plea. Once Kane pours his heart out, he may try to negotiate a new deal with Phyllis. Phyllis feels like she's finally gained some power and respect by besting Victor Newman, but that's certainly not the case when it comes to her children. Daniel and Summer Newman don't respect Phyllis at all anymore, so she may be powerless to fix this unless something changes. Kane may remind Phyllis of that and point out there's a way forward that could make them both happy. Although Kane lost Arabesque, he's still wealthy enough to offer another career shift to Phyllis. Kane might push Phyllis to name her dream company, whether it's one she wants to buy or one she wants to build from the ground up. Perhaps Kane will promise to fund any other business venture and play it up as one she could actually involve her kids in. This whole situation with Newman Enterprises is never going to last, so Kane may push Phyllis to make a new deal before Victor has the chance to gain the upper hand. If Phyllis will just surrender the Newman Empire, Kane may give her literally anything else she wants in return and promise it'll end in good news. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Kane and Phyllis have some important scenes coming up, so stay tuned. Desperation is beginning to claw its way into Kane Ashby's every waking thought. With every hour that passes, with every unanswered call and every silent night, the fear grows heavier in his chest. Lily Winters is still off the grid. Their twins Matty and Charlie are still gone, and the longer they remain out of reach, the more Kane spirals into a frantic, heart-pounding urgency to bring his family home before it's too late. This isn't just worry anymore, it's panic, it's regret. It's the crushing realization that he has already failed the people he loves far too many times and that this time the cost of failure may be unbearable. In a moment of raw vulnerability, Kane had already reached out to Phyllis Summers, leaving behind a voicemail that surprised even himself. There was no anger in his voice, no accusations, only understanding, forgiveness. Even after everything, the manipulation, the power grab, the shocking chloroform drama, Kane tried to see things from Phyllis's point of view. Because he knows the truth, Phyllis didn't go to such extremes out of greed alone. She went there because Kane once promised her the world and then ripped it away without mercy. When she seized control of Newman Enterprises, she was grasping for stability, for validation, for proof that she mattered. And Kane gets that, maybe more than he wants to admit. But now the story is shifting. Phyllis is returning from Milan during the week of February 23rd through February 27th, and when she steps back into Genoa City, her path will inevitably collide with Kane's once again. And when it does, it won't be calm, it won't be calculated, it will be messy, emotional, and painfully honest. By the time Kane finally faces Phyllis in person, he's a man barely holding himself together. He looks frazzled, eyes tired, movements unsteady. There's a sense that he may have had one drink too many, not for pleasure, but to numb the fear that's eating him alive. This isn't a business meeting. This is a man standing at the edge ready to say whatever he has to say to stop himself from falling. And then, on February 26th, Kane finally does it. He confesses. He revisits the sentiments he poured into that voicemail, but this time there's no distance. No hiding behind a recording. He looks Phyllis in the eye and admits that he doesn't blame her. That if he were in her place, promised everything and then left with nothing, he might have done the exact same thing. But beneath that confession lies something far deeper: fear. Kane admits how terrified he is for Lily, for Matty, for Charlie. The words crack as he says their names because this isn't just about missing them, it's about knowing he's already let them down too many times. Broken promises, bad choices, missed chances, and now, standing in the aftermath of it all, Kane makes one thing clear: this has to end. He cannot fail them again. Phyllis listens, and while she may not react kindly if she discovers Kane secretly teamed up with Daniel Romalotti Jr., she can't ignore the raw emotion pouring out of him now. This isn't manipulation, this is desperation wrapped in honesty. Once Kane has laid his heart bare, he shifts gears, not coldly, not strategically, but carefully. He tries to negotiate, not for power, not for revenge, for a future. Phyllis believes she finally gained power and respect by outmaneuvering Victor Newman. On the surface, it looks like a victory, but Kane knows the painful truth she's avoiding. Her children don't see it that way. Daniel and Sarma have lost their respect for her completely, and no amount of corporate dominance can fix that. Phyllis is powerful at Newman Enterprises, but powerless where it hurts the most. Kane gently reminds her of that and then offers a way forward, a way that could give both of them something they desperately need. Even though Kane lost Arabesque, he's far from broke. He still has the wealth, the resources, and the influence to open new doors. He asks Phyllis to name her dream company, one she's always wanted to buy, or maybe one she's never dared to build from the ground up. He offers to fund it all, not as a bribe but as a second chance. Kane paints a picture of something lasting, something real. A business Phyllis could actually involve her children in, something that builds bridges instead of burning them. Something that doesn't tie her future to a ticking time bomb like Newman Enterprises, because Kane knows that situation will never last. Sooner or later, Victor will strike back, and when he does, the upper hand Phyllis thinks she has will vanish in an instant. So Kane urges her to make a new deal now, before it's too late, before the empire collapses around her. If Phyllis is willing to surrender Newman Enterprises, Kane promises her anything else she wants in return. Any dream, any venture, any future she can imagine. And this time he swears it will end in good news, not heartbreak. The stakes couldn't be higher. The emotions couldn't be more raw. And with Kane and Phyllis heading towards some of their most important scenes yet, the question remains, will desperation finally lead to redemption, or will it cost them everything? Stay tuned. The silence that follows Kane's offer lingers like a held breath. Phyllis doesn't respond right away. She just watches him, really watches him for the first time in a long while. Gone is the sharp, strategic woman who walked into Newman Enterprises believing she'd finally beaten the unbeatable Victor Newman. In her place stands someone conflicted, wounded, and quietly shaken by the truth. Kane has just laid bare. Because he's right. Power didn't bring her peace. Control didn't bring her family back. And respect, real respect, slipped through her fingers the moment Daniel and Summer stopped believing in her. Kane senses the shift. He softens his voice, careful not to push too hard, knowing one wrong word could send her walls slamming back into place. He reminds her that this doesn't have to be another war. It doesn't have to end with scorched earth and broken relationships. This could be a turning point if she lets it be. But Phyllis is torn. Giving up Newman Enterprises feels like admitting defeat, like confirming every fear she's been fighting her entire life, that no matter how hard she claws her way to the top, it can all be taken from her in an instant. Letting go means trusting someone again, and trust has never come easily to her. Still, Kane's desperation is impossible to ignore. His voice trembles when he speaks about Lily and the twins, and for a fleeting moment, Phyllis sees not a rival or a deal maker, but a man terrified of losing everything that truly matters. She recognizes that fear, she's lived with it, she's let it drive her to places she never imagined she'd go. And now, standing here, she realizes she's at another crossroads. Kane makes it clear this isn't about winning, it's about survival. About choosing a future before circumstances force one on them. He tells her that if she walks away from Newman now, she walks away on her own terms. Strong, funded, free to build something that actually lasts. And maybe, just maybe, something that could bring her children back into her life. The idea hits Phyllis harder than she expected, because no empire, no title, no victory over Victor Newman has ever mattered as much as Daniel and Summer. And the terrifying truth is this: if she keeps going down this road, she may lose them forever. The tension between Kane and Phyllis thickens, not with anger but with possibility. Outside, the clock is ticking, Victor is regrouping. Newman Enterprises is anything but stable, and Lily and the twins are still missing, their absence casting a long haunting shadow over everything Kane does. This moment, this conversation could change everything. Or it could destroy what little hope remains. As Phyllis weighs her next move, Kane waits, heart pounding, knowing that the fate of his family and her future may hinge on what she decides next. And as The Young and the Restless barrels toward its next explosive chapter, one thing is clear: no one walks away from this unscathed, but someone just might walk away redeemed. The air between them feels fragile now, like glass stretched too thin. Phyllis finally exhales, and it's shaky. The kind of breath you take when you've been holding everything inside for far too long. Her confidence hasn't vanished, but it's no longer sharp-edged. It's worn down by exhaustion, by loss, by the quiet realization that winning doesn't mean much when you're standing alone at the top. She tells Kane she needs time, not a refusal, not a yes, just time, and somehow that's enough to keep hope alive. Kane nods slowly, understanding more than she realizes. He knows what it's like to stare at a decision that could redefine your entire life and to be terrified of choosing wrong. He doesn't push, he doesn't demand an answer. Instead, he makes one final promise: whatever she decides, he'll keep fighting to make things right. Not just for himself, but for Lily, for Mattie, for Charlie, for all the things he's already lost once and refuses to lose again. As Phyllis walks away, the weight of the moment follows her. Every step feels heavier than the last. The power she fought so hard to claim suddenly feels cold, almost hollow. Kane's words echo in her mind about family, about children, about futures that can be bought or stolen. And for the first time since she took control of Newman Enterprises, doubt creeps in. Meanwhile, Ken is left standing alone, the noise of the world rushing back in. The fear hasn't gone away, but now it's mixed with something else: determination, resolve. A quiet vow that no matter what happens with Phyllis, he will not stop searching. He will not stop fighting. He will bring Lily and the twins home, no matter the cost. Elsewhere, unseen and unheard, the stakes continue to rise. Victor is watching, waiting, calculating his next move. The empire Phyllis sits on is already beginning to crack, and it's only a matter of time before the battle lines are redrawn. And somewhere out there, Lily, Mattie, and Charlie remain out of reach, unaware that every choice being made in Genoa City is slowly closing in on their fate. This isn't the end of the story. It's the calm before everything explodes. Because when desperation, ambition, and love collide, secrets surface, loyalties shatter, and no one escapes without paying a price. And as the next chapter unfolds, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. In this game, the most dangerous losses aren't measured in money or power, they are measured in family. Night settles over Genoa City, and with it comes the uneasy feeling that something irreversible is already in motion. Cain Ashby doesn't go home. Instead, he wanders the city streets, lost in thought, replaying every moment of the conversation in his head. Phyllis didn't say no, and that matters. It keeps the door cracked open just enough for hope to slip through. But hope, Cain knows, is fragile, and right now, everything he cares about hangs by a thread. Each unanswered call from Lily Winters feels heavier than the last. Each passing hour without Marty and Charlie tightens the knot in his chest. Cain knows the clock is working against him, and that fear is exactly what drove him to Phyllis in the first place. Not strategy, not ambition, love, regret. The desperate need to fix what he's already broken. Across town, Phyllis Summers sits alone, staring out at the city lights from behind the glass walls of Newman Enterprises. On paper, she's never been more powerful. She outplayed Victor Newman, something few have ever managed to do. Yet the victory feels strangely empty. The office is quiet, too quiet, and in that silence, Cain's words echo louder than anything Victor ever said to her. Daniel Summer. Their disappointment cuts deeper than any corporate betrayal ever could. Phyllis tells herself she took control to secure her future, to prove she was strong enough to stand on her own. But the truth is harder to face. She wanted to feel chosen, valued, respected, and instead she may have pushed away the very people she was trying to protect. Somewhere deep down, she knows Cain is right. This Newman chapter can't last. Victor always finds a way back, and when he does, the fallout could be catastrophic. Meanwhile, unseen forces are already shifting. Victor is regrouping in the shadows, quietly preparing his counterattack. He's not rattled, he's patient, and that patience has always been his most dangerous weapon. When he strikes, it won't just be about reclaiming power. It will be about reminding everyone exactly who runs this town. As the pressure builds, Cain waits for Phyllis's answer. He waits for news of Lily and the twins. He waits for the moment when fear finally gives way to action. Because one way or another, everything is about to collide. Deals will be made, loyalties will be tested, and choices driven by desperation will reshape lives forever. As the young and the restless races toward its next turning point, one truth becomes painfully clear. Power can be taken. Empires can fall. But when family is on the line, every decision becomes a reckoning. And for Cain Ashby and Phyllis Summers, the next move may determine whether this story ends in redemption or in irreversible loss.